In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. And today I have the privilege of speaking with Nicky Billou, who is a very energetic and established author and leader of entrepreneurs. So, Nicky, welcome to the show.
Emanuel, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate your time today. And just for the benefit of listeners, just give us a short description of your background and what you're into right now.
I'm actually originally an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. When I was 11 years old, the Islamic Revolution took place in Iran. And my late father, God rest his soul, he could see the writing on the wall. This was not a place to raise a Christian family anymore. So he and my mom, they made a plan, and they got me and my brothers out of Iran. It took a few years, but eventually landed where I now live, Toronto, Canada. And at the time, man, I was a kid. I didn't want to leave my home. I didn't want to leave my friends. But in retrospect, it was the single greatest thing mom and dad could have done for us. They took us from a legacy of tyranny to a legacy of freedom. And I got to tell you, inside every human breast beats the living heart of freedom. Every man, every woman on this planet wants to chart their own course, march to the tune of their own drummer. And if you're an entrepreneur, freedom is the bedrock of you being allowed to do what you do. Without freedom, which is a gift from God Almighty, you wouldn't be able to speak your mind. You wouldn't have free expression. Without free expression, you wouldn't be able to come up with ideas for you to get into business with. And without those ideas, you couldn't be an entrepreneur. You'd be in a crony capitalist country, which means that only a very few people with connections would get rich and everybody else would be poor. And so I became the biggest champion for freedom. And my late father, Emanuel, he was somebody that you would have loved. If you were looking for work, Dad would sit you down in his office, call all his entrepreneur buddies till one of them hired you. If you were trying to start a business, he'd sit you down, listen to you. He'd give you his best ideas. He'd give you access to capital. He'd give you access to customers. And if you were trying to buy a car or a house and you were a friend of his and the bank wouldn't give you quite enough money to buy that dream car, that dream house, Dad would top you up with a loan that he would never allow you to pay back. And you might think to yourself, hold on a second, man. What is this? Some Hollywood story you've concocted here for me? That doesn't sound real. It's too good to be true. But honestly, no, man. Who is like that? Well, the late, great Napoleon Billou, for one. Why? Well, first of all, he was a devout Christian. He believed he'd been blessed by God and his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And it was his duty to share those blessings with others. But secondly, he did it because he could. He was successful. He was rich. And every day growing up, Dad would tell me, son, life is not a numbers game. It's a people's game. I'd go, okay, Dad. He said, even business, son, is not a money game. It's a people's game. And I go, hold on a minute, Dad. I'm 8 years old. I know everything, right? Dad, of course business is about money. Without money, you can't have any business. I was so pleased with myself that I came up with that all by myself. And he said, son, that's true. But without people, there's no need for money. Because that man sitting in front of you, that's someone's husband, that's someone's father, that's someone's brother, that's someone's son. That's a hero to somebody. Maybe someone just like you disappointed them in business. It's your job to restore their faith in humanity, because every human being out there is a child of God. Every human being out there has moments, right, where there's somebody out there that they wished would believe in them, because we all need someone to believe in us. And you know, I got a lot of accolades. You've been kind enough to share some of them here, but the one I'm most proud of is I'm a professional believer in people, and I'm Napoleon Billou's son.
I love it. That's beautiful. I appreciate you sharing that. That is, it's inspirational hearing it at that level. And thank you, Nicky.
You bet.
You're an established author. Is there a book that you just released, or is there a book that you're working on that you want to talk about right now?
Well, I put out at least a book a year for the last several years. We have a book coming up called Get Booked and Get Paid. And basically, it's about how to get booked as a guest on podcast and
Yep.
then get paid as a result of those podcast guest appearances and attract leads and clients.
Nice.
My most famous book, though, is this one. It's called Finish Line Thinking: How to Think and Win Like a Champion. This is the second edition of the book. And basically, I used to work with a lot of gold medal athletes. And in
Okay.
here, I go into the mindset of champion athletes.
Yeah.
And we basically talk about how you can apply that to business to create great results. It's a slim read, 2 trips to the throne. You'll have it read, but it's full of good, powerful stuff. You go on Amazon, you can pick up a copy. If you're a student of how to think and act like a winner, that book's for you.
That's awesome. Um, that looks like a good one, and I think it's an appropriate one for the Olympics right now, right? We're seeing what
Absolutely.
high powered athletes are doing and what they're capable of. And the psychology of success is probably the biggest part of succeeding in the world, wouldn't you say?
100%. The great Tony Robbins said success is 20% mechanics or what you do, 80% psychology.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, you're obviously as a published author and as a coach of people, you've done a lot of marketing for yourself. And so, what have you seen in this Chat GPT AI revolution period that we're in? What have you seen in the marketing and how it's changed what you're doing?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that ChatGPT is pretty darn amazing in is actually it can assist you in writing a book. I have written all my books myself, but I decided to write a book, which I haven't published, using ChatGPT.
Uh-huh.
And basically, it's a 100-page book, and it's called Six Strategies to Six Figures in Your Coaching Business, right?
Cool.
And what I did is I used ChatGPT to come up with the prompts to help me come up with the introduction,
Yep.
the table of contents. I had ChatGPT assist me in fleshing out each and every chapter. And I had to write some examples in it myself from my own experience.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT is pretty darn amazing. If you go to ChatGPT and you say, I'd like you to flesh out a table of contents for a book that I want to write, it'll do it for you, lickety split. If you're going on Podmatch, you and I are both on Podmatch,
Sure. Yep.
and you are creating a profile for yourself. Now, I did it the old fashioned way originally. I wrote it all out myself, but I'm teaching clients who are following my Get Booked and Get Paid methodology. Hey, go on ChatGPT and say you need a 200 word bio about yourself and see if ChatGPT recognizes you, because it just might. And if it does, it'll pull some stuff for you. And ChatGPT will write it for you. And then you got to keep using the prompts. The secret to ChatGPT is to be really good at the prompts that you use
Yeah.
to get it to do stuff for you. If you just say write a book, you're not going to get much out of it. But if you're very specific in what you ask the prompts to do, it'll be very, very helpful in helping you put together profiles. You can write email messages that you want to send out to people. If, Valentine's Day is coming up and you haven't got your wife a great gift, ask ChatGPT to write you a love poem in the style of Rumi, and it'll do it for you. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty darn amazing.
Well, what are would you say like just top three things that you have for people getting started in terms of prompt writing? Let's just talk about that for a second.
So let's say that you have a list of 100 past clients and you want to get back in touch with them. So the first thing I do is I'd say, go to ChatGPT and say, please write a 150-word email that's for my past clients, requesting that they jump on a call with me so that I can help them potentially with their latest and greatest problems in business.
Right.
So I would write that prompt initially, and I'd let ChatGPT do its magic. Depending on what it wrote for me, I would continue to tweak the prompt, because I'm one of these people that when it comes to email, I'm pretty darn picky, and I recommend that you be the same way. So write an initial prompt that asks for something like this. But once it sends you whatever it's going to send you, then the next question you want to ask it is, can you please tighten the language? Can you make the language a little bit more personal and a little less formulaic and businesslike? ChatGPT will do an amazing job of that. If you spend 10, 15 minutes with ChatGPT helping it help you come up with an email like that, you'll have a killer email that you can then send out to 100 people on your list. And I'll tell you, I think you can get some really good results from that. I've done that. I've had clients of mine do that. It's been absolutely brilliant. There's another thing that I suggest people use ChatGPT for, and that's to help them create IP. Let's say you're an expert in sales. What's the best way to create IP? Well, Emanuel, the best way to create IP is first come up with some basic statements of expertise. So I'd go to ChatGPT and I'd say, come up with 100 statements of sales expertise, and go through the internet and see if you can find anything written by Nicky Billou on sales and incorporate that into the statements that you come up with. Go to the internet and come up with, statements of expertise by Emanuel Rose and incorporate that into the statements you create. ChatGPT will come up with those for you, lickety split. Those 100 statements that it comes up with, there'll be at least 30 or 40 that are really excellent, and you can use those as the basis for helping you create and expand your IP. So let's say one of mine is sales is an act of love, right? Sales is an act of love.
Nice.
So I'd go ChatGPT, write a 3-line explanation of what we mean by sales is an act of love. So ChatGPT will do it for you. And then I'll go, excellent. ChatGPT, come up with a visual diagram, a visual model that will easily and visually express this. So ChatGPT will help do that for you. ChatGPT, come up with a metaphor that expresses this. ChatGPT will do it for you. ChatGPT, what are the 5 sales books that talk about sales as love, sales as service? Give me a list of those. So then I've got a list of a literature review. And then I got to come up with some case studies. Those are mine to do, but boom.
Yeah.
ChatGPT just created.
I love that. And then if you
you
capture those prompts, then you can do that and do that for other topics and speed up your content development process.
Big time. Big time. Now you need to be careful. You can't let ChatGPT do your thinking for you.
Yeah.
So you've got to do your own individual thinking yourself. And if it says something that sounds vanilla, you're going to have to give it more specific prompts to tweak it to make it good. But brother, just using that, boom, I could make you a globally renowned thought leader with 100 pieces of IP in under a day.
Yeah.
I can help you create this in a day with 100 pieces of well-defined, powerful IP. And I've got other things that I can add to that that'll allow you to license that IP to other people.
Interesting. Yeah,
that's a brilliant and beautiful thing.
Yeah, that is. That's cool. Well,
you can have coaches that'll teach it for you.
How do you see that as more and more people are creating this high value IP and high value content, how are we going to continue to get recognized and noticed as a thought leader, or have our content recognized? Because there's so much more content being created because of the GPTs.
Yeah, so content is becoming less and less of a differentiator. It's becoming more like a commodity.
Yep.
What is a differentiator are experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Experiences are powerful. So if you want to stand out to your audience, you got to start giving them experiences, events, and things that they can go through. So I've got 10 books here right now, right? You can go buy them on Amazon total for under I don't know, $300. I give them to most people for free.
Right.
Tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You want one of my books, I'll give it to you for free. And if you find one of the tools in it valuable, I'll give you a coaching call for free. Now, coaching still is valuable and can help solve problems. But the thing that I want to do is leave you with an experience, Emmanuel. Let's just say you and I were talking, right? And let's say you said to me, look, Nicky, what I want to do is I want to have my first $1 million year as a thought leader. I've never had $1 million year. So I don't know if you have or you haven't, but let's just say I made that up for you, right? And if you said, okay, how do I do that? I'd sit down with you, put you through an experience, basically based on understanding your goals, understanding how big you've grown your business, and understanding who are the people that you really want to help. Based on that, I can help create an experience for you through being part of a program with me that'll show you specifically how you can go from, let's say you're making $250,000 a year right now, to $1 million within a 2-year period, right? And that experience is going to be way more powerful than me just giving you a bunch of content or videos or books on it, because books are a dime a dozen. You want to make $1 million in a year as a coach or a thought leader? Free content showing you how to do that abounds. Right. Nobody ever got rich from learning content. Do you know how they got rich? Do you know how they did anything well? They worked with somebody who had knowledge of how to do it and believed in them enough to step them out of whatever crap was going on in their head and move them to the next space.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, this idea of the hero's journey, and that part of the hero's journey is you have to have a mentor, and you have to have somebody that's going to lead you into the next steps, right?
Yeah, can I tell you a story?
Yeah, please do.
So there's a woman that we started working with just a few months ago. In October, she did our first program. And then she came to Toronto to do our Thought Leader program. So she had the experience. She loved it. She signed up for a year-long thought leadership kind of mentoring and accountability program we run. Within 3 months of signing up for that program, she was clear on what she hadn't been clear on before.
Right.
She realized that she wasn't standing out. Her message was just wacky and not landing. We helped her have a message that stood out, and that's more important than ever in today's marketplace. And we helped her put an event together for 12 potential buyers of her program. And she is a high-level thought leader who helps people set up medical spas. And her message is, you're leaving $10 million on the table. I'll show you how to capture that.
Nice.
Great message, right?
Yep.
Really good message. So 12 of these people were in a room with her. 8 weren't interested, 4 were. One of them bought $500,000 consulting package.
It's a great event. It's a great event.
Right?
Yeah.
32 days later, while working with the same client, this client realized they needed the second step, and they bought a $550,000 consulting package. Wow. She made $1,050,000 in 32 days from being in an experience with us that showed her how, pardon my French, shitty her message was.
Right.
And then working with her one-on-one, we tweaked this in $1 million in 32 days.
Wow. Well, that's two things, right? One is that you guys you've developed a system, your team has developed a system that works, right? An experience that works. And 2, you have high-powered clients that are listening and taking action based on the learning that you have for them.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Both of those are very important. For us, like our ideal client are action takers.
Sure.
We don't want to work with people that are, oh my God, it's too much money. I don't know, maybe next year, maybe go away. Go be with someone else.
Yeah.
We want you here if you're ready to rock.
Yeah, well, that's so if we look back at some of the tools that are coming up and available besides the ChatGPT, are there other AI marketing tools that you're using to get out to your ideal clients?
At the moment, no, but we are really keen on using AI to develop some video-based content.
Nice.
And I'm also really keen. I spoke with a guy, I'm actually interviewing him tomorrow on myself, who has developed customer service AI
Uh-huh.
employee. So you
Right.
can use that to run your customer service team. I just, I'm fascinated. I want to learn. I
Yeah.
don't know a ton about how that would work, but I want to learn everything about how it would work. And if you can do it for customer service, the next thought in my mind is, can you do it for marketing? Can you have marketing team members
Yeah.
that are really AI?
Right.
If the answer is yes, oh boy, that's going to change a lot for a lot of people.
Well, you're somebody who obviously has a very high emotional intelligence, and that's a big part of the magnetism that you have for attracting clients and business. How do you see that EQ getting infused into AI, and what do you think the process is and the timeline to make that happen?
Brother, I have no idea. I'm keen to see what people come up with.
Yeah.
Um, I listen to folks like Elon Musk about this because he thinks very deeply about the issues. He says AI has great promise, but it also has the potential to destroy humanity.
Yeah.
If you remember the old Terminator movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger
Of
back in
course.
the day,
Yeah.
Skynet. I'm like, damn, are we in the early days of Skynet, right? Are they
Yeah.
going to start sending hunter killers to go after human beings pretty soon? Uh, it's it's a wild time. It's a wild ride. I think everybody who's listening to this should be using ChatGPT. You should be using AI tools to help you build video and audio content.
Yeah.
I mean, there's folks who are like creating videos wholesale that are AI.
Right.
It's not a human being there. It's
Yeah.
AI. It's
Right.
pretty darn crazy. And if you can get that content and use it to your benefit to help your clients, that's amazing. But how do you make AI more human-like so it has emotional characteristics like empathy and charisma? Damn, is that doable? Because if it's
Yeah.
doable, wow, wow.
Well, I think we're observing, we're watching and observing and waiting to see and participating and to see where this all takes us. And I agree that there's always with any tool there's a great capacity for it to do good and there's a great capacity for it to be misused. So I don't
Yes,
think AI is any different from my perspective than any other tool that humans have, right?
correct.
I want to keep using it to take away drudgery work, to help to trigger me to have new and different ideas and to explore that, and to teach people how they can leverage this technology and make their life better. And I think you and I are aligned in that, Nikki.
Yeah, 100%, brother. 100%.
So I really appreciate you taking the time today to have this conversation. And how do people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about what having an experience with you and your team?
Um, Best thing to do is to book a what I call a success call. So let's have a conversation about what success looks like for you and maybe what might be getting in your way. It's free, there's no obligation. And the best way to do that is to go to ecircleacademy.com/appointment. And it'll be with me, not an AI version of me.
How will we know though? How will we know?
How will you know?
All right, Nikki. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I love your energy, enthusiasm, and your grounded spirituality about changing the world. And so, blessings to you, and thanks for spending
Thank
time with
you.
me. Appreciate it.
Same to you, my brother. God bless you. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.